We have two ways to go. Republicans can cut Social Security and give more tax breaks to the wealthy. That's the proposal. Oh no, you guys don't want another $2 trillion tax cut? I kind of thought that's what your plan was. Well, that's good to hear. You're not going to cut another $2 trillion for the super wealth. That's good to hear.
I love Mike Johnson in the background shaking his head. Oh, look at Joe going on. Yeah, we like giving tax cuts to the uber wealthy only because we did it under Reagan and George W. Bush and also Donald Trump, but we're totally gonna do it if he gets back in office. They're so utterly fake. But the message was heard loud and clear. Joe Biden was saying we should have the rich pay their fair share. And the rich, it turns out, were listening and they didn't like that section. And we're gonna give you their responses. Jeff Green is a real estate billionaire who said, I don't agree with the idea of just singling out people because of how much they have or don't have. Well, in this case, he's targeting the people who have a lot, literally billions of dollars. You're a billionaire. You have a lot, that's what he's singling out. That guy has previously talked about how there's this jealousy towards the uber wealthy. So I guess we're expecting them to pay more than 3 or 4% of taxes in a year because we're jealous of them. He says the progressive income tax, I understand, though he argued that tax rates have grown out of control. You have to leave incentives for people who are the ones who are going to create the jobs for all those people trying to climb the ladder. Evidently, the incentive to become and stay a billionaire is not enough for this guy. He's got higher aspirations than billions of dollars. And he also says, it's really difficult to even say how much money some of us have. People speculate about my net worth. I don't think I can tell you what my net worth is. I have a bunch of assets that are artwork and real estate. I mean, do I know every day what it's worth? And I would argue that if you're gonna tell us that we should not be thinking hard about possibly taxing you more, your rebuttal should not be, I don't even know how rich I am, man. I got all these paintings and I honestly forgot I had a castle. I just don't get out there more than once a decade. I think you could probably bear the taxes. Anyway, he offered alternative solutions. So he's not just criticizing Joe Biden, he has an alternate plan. So don't tax. He says you could raise the age of Social Security eligibility. My kids who are 10, 12, 14, you could tell them, you know what? When you retire, you're gonna get money at 70, not 65. Do you think they're gonna care? Maybe not. Their dad's a billionaire, you psychopath. I'm not worried about them, I'm worried about regular people. And his response to, hey, maybe you could pay more than 8% income taxes is, no, make the poors grind it out for another half decade. That's a better solution to me, a billionaire. Your concern is noted. We have this grocery billionaire who says, I think it sounds like President Biden doesn't want a capitalist government. He wants a government for socialism, and socialism doesn't work. Ask the people in Russia, ask the people in Cuba, ask the people in Venezuela. Arguably, I heard from Tucker Carlson that the people in Russia love it, that they're killing it. Did you know how good the bread is there? Anyway, he goes on to say you're trying to take away the incentives for people to work hard. He is literally a billionaire. And then billionaire investor Leon Cooperman, who I know Anna Kasparian will definitely appreciate this, said that Biden's proposals amount to a version of tax and spend, where they don't tackle the real problem. The real problem is excess spending. Bearing in mind, of course, that government spending benefits people who don't already have billions of dollars. Weird that the billionaire thinks that's the problem.
A lot of mainstream media don't give you honest news. We do, you know why? Because of you. Paid membership on YouTube makes all the difference. Hit the join button below and you become the hero that sustains us.
Maz, I want to go to you first. What do you think about the billionaire tiers?
Well, their reactions are proof that trickle-down economics does not work. Because the idea of trickle-down economics was they make money and then everybody else makes money. The problem is when these billionaires make money, they don't give the money to everybody else. They go and buy a $500 million yacht and they buy private islands. That's what they do. And that's why these guys are crying these alligator tears. And it's ridiculous, really. I mean, I heard Elizabeth Warren one time say that we're asking these people to pay the taxes because they're making their fortunes using this system that we have created. By the way, all these people who go, oh, you want to be a socialist, you want to be a socialist. I always remind them, we are in the ultimate capitalist society and it's not ever going to change. And if you want proof, I always go back to the pandemic and how the pandemic, when the lockdowns happened, the government didn't lock us down. You know who locked us down? The NBA. If you remember, it was one of the players, Rudy Gobert. He had COVID, and then they started this game, and then all of a sudden they realized that there was going to be a spread, and they go, we're closing down the game. Once they saw that that game is being closed down, all of a sudden government caught up and was like, oh, we got to shut this down. So ultimately, we live in a capitalistic society. Once again, even like when you talk about like Donald Trump and all the abuses he was doing on Twitter, and it was getting crazier and crazier leading up to January 6th. And we tried in a dictatorial system, you probably would have shut him off earlier. No, it was actually Twitter and the private companies kicking him off. We live in a capitalistic society. You cannot ignore that or deny that. And these people should pay more taxes because they get away with it. Somebody was once talking about it because I didn't understand how it worked. Real quick, last point. Jeff Bezos, I was listening to the daily podcast. They were talking about Jeff Bezos was giving himself an $80,000 salary and he was paying taxes on that. And I'm going, that is ridiculous. And these guys just have these loopholes and they get through it. They're making money in this system, in our system. So they should pay their fair share of taxes.
Well, and I think to your point, Ma, specifically on it's a capitalistic society, I think a lot of people would argue that actually, no, they're not playing fairly by capitalistic rules, right? They head up monopolies like Bezos. They swallow up other companies. They are allowed to merge time and time again with no stops. I mean, the Biden administration has actually successfully put a stop to a couple of these mergers. But increasingly, they don't play by the rules of capitalism that the rest of us have to play by, right? The rest of us who can barely afford our rent each month and for whom the extra money that maybe we got under COVID, for example, for food stamps, so to speak, the $15 a month, which if you've been following this, allowed people to have like chicken for the first time in months. That all went away thanks to Republicans. So look, I'm glad that Biden is calling them out on this. Obviously, they are, Republicans truly are just siphons and funnels to get money to go up and up. And to Maz's point, they don't just buy islands and cars; they buy Supreme Court justices. That's how it works now. And so the real thing, though, is I wish that Biden would go harder on them about this. The fact that they didn't vote, not a single one of them voted for the American Rescue Plan, right? He doesn't tout that, in part because he's allowed a lot of those things like the child tax credit to lapse. But I wish he went even harder on just how much they are gatekeepers of plutocrats and billionaires like they hope to be one day.
By the way, he did mention, it was kind of funny to watch Joe because he's a little older, but he was still sharp. He did mention a couple of times about, oh, you guys are taking credit for the infrastructure bill. He goes, he made fun of them for that. So, I mean, you're right. You do got to keep pushing and pushing and pointing out that these guys vote against these things. And then if it works to their benefit, they try to take credit for it, which is ridiculous.
Right.